Okay, so we need to this is the Geometry Target 3A special angle pairs. So remember our special angle pairs, I'm just going to write them down here for right now. They're corresponding. And remember, I like to think of corresponding as in the same place. So do you see, let's look at angle 1 right here. Do you see that angle 1 is on top of line L and to the left of this transversal? So what else is a top left angle? Well, 5 is. So 1 and 5 are corresponding. They're in the same place. Remember, corresponding means in the same place. Okay, so what else is corresponding? Well, 2 is a top right angle, so what else is top right? 6. So 2 and 6 are corresponding. 3 and 7, they're also corresponding. Notice that they're both bottom lefts. And 4 and 8 are also corresponding, and they're both bottom rights. They're on the bottom of lines L and M and to the right of this transversal here. Okay? So remember, I think of corresponding as in the same place. Now, I noticed that a lot of you guys get these confused with same side interior. The problem with that, so let's look at 1 and 5. Only 5 is interior. 1's actually exterior. So when they're on the same side and one is exterior like 1 and one is interior like 5, those are corresponding. Okay, so that's corresponding angles. Okay, now let's look at the other angles that we have. So we have corresponding, we have same side interior, and another name for same side interior, remember, is consecutive. Now, that's too sloppy to read. So same side interior, and another word for that is consecutive. And that still doesn't look right. Sorry about this. Alright, one more time. Consecutive. Consecutive. There we go. So either consecutive or I like to say same side interior. Now the reason I like same side interior is that's a definition right there. They're on the same side, so that means the same side of this transversal. We'll go ahead and call this transversal T. So angles on the same side, so angles that are the same side are 1, 3, 5, and 7. They're all on the left side. Angles that are on the same side, which is the right side, are 2, 4, 6, and 8, right? So we're looking for same side, but they're also interior. Now interior means between the two parallel lines here, L and M, right? So interior means between the two parallel lines. So 3, 4, 5, and 6 are all interior. So which ones are same side interior? And that's 3 and 5 and 4 and 6. So 3 and 5 is a pair of same side interiors. And another pair would be 4 and 6. Right? Okay. And then also we have alternate interior. And again, that's the same. The definition is in the words. Alternate means on the opposite sides of T. So what angles are on the opposite side of T from 1? So angle 1, opposite would be 2, 4, 6, and 8. But I need opposite or alternate interior. Okay, so alternate interior. Okay, so you might think that 3 and 4 are interior and alternate, and they are. Okay, but you have to pick one from line L and one from line M. So if I say 3, then I have to go down to line M, and I'm going to pick one that's interior on the other side. So that would be 3 and 6. Okay, also 4 and 5 are alternate interior. So 3 and 6 are alternate interior, as are 4 and 5. Okay, then we have corresponding same side interior, alternate interior, and we also have alternate exterior. So alternate exterior are just like alternate interior, but they're outside. So if I pick an outside angle, like angle 1, then I have to look for one down here from line M that's outside and on the other side of T. So that would be 8. So 1 and 8 are a pair of alternate exterior, and 2 and 7 are also a pair of alternate exterior. Okay? And then we have vertical angles. And we remember vertical angles. Vertical angles happen whenever I have an X. So right here I have an X, right here. So 2 and 3 are a pair of vertical angles, and so are 1 and 4. And here I have another X, so 6 and 7 and 5 and 8 are vertical. Okay, now we have some rules about those, so let me write these rules down. I should have just given myself a little thing. And instead of writing them down, I should have typed them, but I didn't. So I'm going to go ahead and write my rules down. So the first thing I need to know is that vertical angles are always equal. So vertical angles are always equal. Okay. Now the 3 of the others, so if the lines are parallel, then these 3 angles are equal. So the 3 angles are alternate interior, angles are equal. That's only if the lines are parallel. Corresponding, I'll just write it out. Angles are equal. And lastly, alternate exterior. Angles are equal. Okay, and then one more. It's again if the lines are parallel. So if lines are parallel, then same side interior, which remember is consecutive. They are not equal, they add to 180. They are supplementary, remember, which means they add up to 180. Okay, so now to solve this problem, I need to know a few things. I know that M is parallel to L. So M is parallel to L, so that means that these 4 theorems, the alternate interior, corresponding alternate exterior, and the same side interior angles theorems are all true. So I need to know now what kind of angles are 4 and 5. So here's 4, and 4 is 5x plus 3. And 5 is right here, and that's 7x minus 21. And those angles, so 4 and 5, notice they're inside, they're both inside, so they're interior. Now, are they on the same side or on alternate sides? They're on alternate sides, so these are alternate interior. Okay, so it's the alternate interior angles theorem. And I abbreviated, but you don't have to. You can actually write it out. Alternate interior angles theorem. Okay, now we have to actually find the value of x, and I've run out of some room, so let me get a new color so we don't mix it up. There we go. And we want to find x. Well, what does it say? If the lines are parallel, then alternate interior angles are what? They're equal. They're what? That's right. They are equal. So I'm going to set them equal. I'm going to say 7x minus 21 is equal to 5x plus 3. And I'm going to do the algebra. So I'm going to subtract 5x. And I'm going to get 2x minus 21 equals 3. And then I'm going to add 21. And I'm going to get 2x equals 21 plus 3 is 24. Divide by 2. And I get x is 12. So that's it. X is 12. Okay, so alternate interior angles theorem, and x is 12. Now to double check that again, I can plug in 7 times 12. I know that that's 84. 84 minus 20 is 64 minus 1 is 63, so I get that this angle is 63. And 5 times 12 is 60, plus 3 is 63, so this angle is also 63, so the two angles are equal, which is what I said should happen, but that only happens when x is 12. So there we go. Okay, number 2. What special angle pair are 3 and 16? So again, let's look. 3 and 16. Alright, now notice I'm not really using this, so I'm just going to erase that. I'm going to say, go away, I don't want you there anymore. Okay, so 3 and 16. Now if I look at that, look at these two lines, are 3 and 16 outside of those two lines or inside? And if you look, they're outside. Now, are they on the same side as B, or are they on opposite sides? So one's on top of B and one's on the bottom, so they're on opposite sides. So they're exterior and opposite, so that means they are alternate exterior. So alternate exterior. And again, I'm going to erase this and this, and now we're going to look at 11 and 13. So again, it's asking what kind of angle pair, so I'm going to first find them. I'll use red this time. So 11, here's 11, and here's 13. Okay, that doesn't use anything but these two lines, right? So if I look at that, I have an X, so that means those are vertical angles, right? They're right next to each other, not next to each other, they're opposite of each other. So they're opposite of each other, so they're vertical angles. Okay, and then it wants a special angle pair for 14 and 15 as well. So let's look at 14 and 15, get a new color. How about green? Whoops, ink color. Here we go, green. So 14 and 15. Alright, here we go. 14 there and 15 right there. So it looks like I'm not really using this line, so I'm going to get rid of it so I can focus what I'm looking at a little better. Now look, are 14 and 15 inside or outside of A and B? So here's line A. Right, here's line A. And here's line B. Are they inside or outside? Well, they're inside. Now, are they on the same side or on opposite sides? And again, they're on the same side. So they're same side and they were inside, so that means they're same side interior. And remember, what's the other name for same side interior? Yes, consecutive. Okay, so I accept either of those two answers. Oops, went too far. Okay, now number 6, it asks for 3 pairs of corresponding angles. So 3 pairs of corresponding angles. Okay, so let's remember at the very first slide we talked about what corresponding was. So remember, corresponding is in the same place. Okay, so I'm going to pick any angle I want. Pick any angle. Okay, so let's pick 1. Okay, now 1 is a top left. If I'm ignoring this line for a second and I'm just looking at these two lines, 1 is a top left. What else is top left? Well, 3. So I could say angle 1 and angle 3. That's one pair of corresponding angles. Okay, another pair, pick any other angle. So I'm going to pick a color first there. And I'm going to say 5. Well, 5 is top right. What else is top right? 7. So here's another pair of 5 and 7. Okay, and then I need one more pair. So I can do 2 and 4. 2 and 4 are both on the bottom and they're on the left. So they're corresponding, 2 and 4. Okay, now if I hadn't erased this line, if I had erased, say, this line right here, then I could have said 1 and 12. They're both on top of A and to the left of C and D, right? And 5 and 13 are on top of A and to the right of C and D. So they're both top rights. Okay, so it just depends. There's a whole bunch of answers here. I only asked for 3 of them. On the test, I'm actually only asking for 1. So you name 1 pair of corresponding angles. On the retake, I'm only asking for 1 pair, so just 1. Okay, now alternate interior. So we have to review again what is alternate interior. That means inside and on the same side. So I'm just going to cross out one of the lines to make it easier. So I picked that line to cross out. Okay, it doesn't matter which line I cross out. Just cross one out, make your picture look easier. So name 3 pairs of alternate interior. So interior means between the 2 parallel lines. So what are the angles that are between these 2 lines, C and D? They're 5, 6, 12, and 11. But we need alternate interior, right? So 5 is interior. Now what's opposite on the other line? 11. So 5 and 11 is 1 pair. And then another pair would be 6 and 12. They're inside and on opposite sides. Okay, now that's a problem. There's only 2 and there's no more alternate interior angles there. So I'm going to erase this line. And now I'm going to erase, cross out that line and look at another pair of 2 lines. So alternate interior, so interior. And on opposite sides would be 6 and 3. So right there. I could have also said 2 and 7, right? I could have said 11 and 15, 10 and 14, 7 and 9, 10 and 8. There's a whole bunch. Okay, I only needed 3. Alright, for number 4, we have to find the value of x. So to do that, first I need to know that L and M are parallel, so that's good. That means I can use those theorems. And I need to know what kind of angles are 4 and 6. Oh, well, here's 4 and here's 6. They look like they're inside and on the same side, so they look like they're same side. Alright, I guess I'm going to go back a few slides, and we'll look at the theorems. It says same side. If I have same side interior angles and the lines are parallel, then they aren't equal, they add up to 180. Remember, they're supplementary. So we've got an alliteration going on. Same side supplementary, remember? Any of the other 4 angles, vertical, alternate interior, corresponding, and alternate exterior, they're equal. But same side are not equal, they add up to 180. So let's go back here. And let's double check. Are 4 and 6 same side interior? They are, so that means they add to 180. So instead of setting them equal to each other, I'm going to add them up to get 180. So I'm going to say angle 4, which is 8x minus 51, and I'm going to add to that angle 6, which is 5x plus 10, and that's going to equal 180. So 8 and 5 is 13x. I'm just combining like terms, and then 51 and 10 are also like terms. It's a negative 51 and a positive 10, so that gives me negative 41, and that equals 180. And then I'm going to add 41, and I get 13x equals 180 plus 41. That looks like carry the 1, 4 and 8 is 12, carry the 1, 221, and then I'm going to divide both of those by 13, and let me open up my calculator. Here we go. 13. Whoops, went the wrong way. Alright, what is that? 221 divided by 13? And I get 17. Yay, x is 17. I wonder what would happen if I hit that button. Well, I'll try it another time. Okay, good. Okay, next slide, number 9. Same kind of problem. I know that L and M are parallel, so these lines are parallel. And I need to know what kind of angles 2 and 6 are. So 2 and 6. Okay, they look like they're on the same side. Are they same side interior? No, they're not. They're not same side interior because 6 is interior but 2 is exterior. So they're not both interior, right? So not same side interior But since one's interior and one's exterior, that means it can't be alternate exterior or alternate interior because one's interior and one's exterior, right? So that means they must be corresponding. So remember, corresponding is in the same place. So 2 is a top right angle, as is 6. 6 is also top right. So they're corresponding. And remember, if I look back at my theorems, which I'm not going to do, you're welcome to, corresponding, if you wrote them down, then you wouldn't have to worry. Corresponding angles are equal when the lines are parallel. They don't add up to 180, they're equal. So instead of adding them up and saying they equal 180, I'm going to say that they're equal to each other. So angle 2 is 5x plus 7, and that has to equal angle 6, which is 112. Subtract 7 from both sides, and I get 5x equals 105. Divide both sides by 5, and I can do that one in my head. Lucky me, that's 21. So x is 21. And then again, I could plug in to double check. 5 times 21 is 105. 105 plus 7 is 112. It checks. Alright, we're done. So 6, again, you have to do these problems in the math lab, the help lab, at home, your geometry support class or a tutorial support class, or with your teacher. Anyway, try them on your own, then you have to have them checked by one of the teachers in one of the places that I mentioned. Okay, and then you're good for the retake. So here they are. Here's problems 1 and 2. Make sure you draw the picture, copy it down, solve the problem. And here are 3, 4, and 5. Again, draw the picture, copy it down, solve the problems. And then 6 and 7. You don't have to redraw this picture. It's the same picture that we used for 3, 4, and 5. So just do the problems. And then 10, draw the picture, solve the problem. And 9, draw the picture, solve the problem. Okay, good luck.